Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. And today we're going to be exploring the chilling case of Charles Thurman Sinclair,
The coin shop killer.
the so-called coin shop killer.
Right.
We've got a whole stack of research here, reports on this nomadic criminal who targeted specifically coin shops across America. Our mission, to sift through all the details and understand what made this case so unique and, frankly, a little terrifying.
Well, yeah, what immediately grabs you with Sinclair is the planning.
Yeah.
This meticulous planning. Like, this wasn't just some random spree.
Right.
It was very carefully orchestrated.
Yeah.
Each one echoing the last in unsettling detail.
It's like he had a blueprint, right?
Yeah.
He had this blueprint for how to exploit this world. It's almost like he was playing some kind of deadly game,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So let's start with his early life.
Okay.
See if we can spot any hints of the darkness to come.
Okay.
So he was born in 1946 in jail, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly known for churning out notorious criminals.
Exactly. That's what makes it so fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, we often look for these obvious signs like red flags in someone's upbringing to explain criminal behavior.
Right.
But with Sinclair, it's just more nuanced.
Right.
He did experience an early tragedy, though, losing his father
Yeah.
at a young age. So his mother was left to support the family.
Okay.
And she ran, get this, a coin laundry and ironing business.
Wait, the coin laundry.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we thinking that somehow planted a seed
Well, it's possible.
for his future?
I mean, we can't say for sure,
Yeah.
but early experiences, even seemingly mundane ones,
Right.
they can have a real impact on how we view the world.
Right. Especially as a kid.
Especially as a kid, absolutely.
Trying to figure out what's going on.
Make sense of loss, instability.
Right. Okay.
It's a question worth pondering.
Okay. So we got this potential early connection to coins,
Yeah.
but he doesn't start robbing laundromats, right?
Yeah.
He opens up his own coin shop in Hobbs, New Mexico, using his personal collection as the foundation.
Yeah.
It seems almost poetic in a way.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, in this twisted way.
Yeah, and this is where we start to see those lines blur.
Yeah.
You know, he expands his shop to include firearms,
Oh, okay.
hinting at this growing fascination with tools of violence,
Okay.
or at the very least, a comfort level with them.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then comes 1985, the year everything seems to change.
Yeah.
A mysterious fire destroys his shop, leaving him in financial ruin.
Yeah.
Was this a turning point, a catalyst for his criminal path?
Well, it's hard to say definitively if it was an accident or deliberate,
Right.
but what's clear is that it coincides with this dramatic shift in his life.
Yeah.
He's facing financial desperation. We know he's got access to weapons.
Right.
And that is a very potentially volatile situation.
Right. And it's right around this time that his crimes begin.
Yeah.
So let's get into his, oh, it's so chilling, modus operandi.
Yeah.
He doesn't just burst into these coin shops, guns blazing.
No.
Right? There's a method to this madness.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sinclair was a master manipulator.
Yeah.
He'd frequent coin shops, posing as a regular customer. He'd chat up the owners, learn their routines.
Right.
He wasn't just casing the joint. He was building trust,
Right.
embedding himself into the community.
He was playing the long game.
Long game.
Almost like a con man,
Yeah.
setting up this elaborate scheme,
Mm-hmm.
spending weeks, maybe even months, cultivating this facade of normalcy,
Right.
but all the while plotting his attack.
That's where the real psychological horror lies.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being one of these shop owners,
Wow.
welcoming this seemingly harmless man into your world.
Right, sharing your passion.
Sharing your passion, and all along he's been studying you,
Right.
waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Oh, it's chilling. It's awful.
It is.
And when he did strike, it was always calculated, brutal, and often deadly. So let's delve into some of the cases that highlight the devastating impact of his crimes, starting with the double homicide in Billings, Montana.
Yeah, this case is particularly heartbreaking because there were signs,
Oh, really?
almost premonitions of what was to come.
Wow.
Jim Sparbo, the son of victim Charles Sparbo,
Okay.
noticed Sinclair lurking around the shop, acting suspiciously.
Really?
He even commented on how Sinclair's hands were banker smooth, unlike someone who handled coins regularly.
Wow, it's like a detail from a nightmare.
It is.
Noticing something off, but not grasping the true danger
Right.
until it's too late.
Exactly.
Sadly, Jim's observations weren't enough to save his father
Right.
or Catherine Newstrom, the shop assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Both were found shot to death.
Yeah.
And over $54,000 worth of coins and gold was missing.
Yeah, I mean, the Billings case is tragic.
Yeah.
But it also underscores a key aspect of Sinclair's MO.
Good.
He preyed on the inherent trust within these niche communities,
Yeah.
like coin collecting.
Right, right.
You know, he understood their language, their routines, their vulnerabilities.
Wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we move to Murray, Utah,
Okay.
where Sinclair's ruthlessness takes an even more terrifying turn
Yeah.
with the attempted murder of Kelly Finnegan.
What stands out in this case is just the sheer audacity
Yeah.
of his actions.
Yeah.
He shoots Finnegan in the head point blank
Ah.
and then just calmly proceeds to rob the shop
Oh, my God.
while his victim's playing dead.
That's insane.
It's a scene that reveals this chilling detachment,
Right.
like a complete disregard for human life.
It's awful.
Mm.
And the details are just insane.
I know.
So after shooting him, he steals a pocket watch from the safe
Yeah.
and just puts it in his pocket.
Right.
Later, his son's seen wearing a Rolex,
I know.
stolen from the shop's other owner.
It's almost like he was taunting authorities,
Yeah.
leaving these brazen clues,
Right.
confident in his ability to outsmart them.
Wow.
It adds this whole other layer to his psychological profile. This strange mix of meticulous planning
Yeah.
and reckless arrogance.
Reckless arrogance, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now for our final stop in this part of the deep dive, we travel to Lodi, California,
Okay.
where Robert and Dagmar Linton, a couple on the cusp of retirement, vanish without a trace.
This case initially presented as a missing persons case,
Okay.
which highlights the complexities investigators often face.
Right.
It wasn't immediately clear that they'd fallen victim to foul play.
Okay.
They were avid travelers,
Mm-hmm.
often taking trips in their distinctive red and white trailer.
Okay.
And they were diligent about staying in contact with family, calling regularly from the road.
Yeah.
But the calls abruptly stopped after they reached Washington State.
Oh, wow.
Their trailer was found abandoned at a campground,
Oh, no.
and their truck turned up at the Seattle-Tacoma airport.
It's like pieces of a puzzle, right?
Yes.
Just scattered across the landscape.
Exactly. And inside the truck, investigators found traces of blood, suggesting a struggle.
Right. But the lack of bodies left this haunting ambiguity hanging over the case.
Oh, for sure.
Mm.
And there was this one particularly eerie detail.
Okay.
While the truck was mostly clean, there were traces of blood found embedded in the wooden ceiling material of the camper shell.
Okay.
An analysis revealed that it was a mix of Robert's blood, Dagmar's, and a third unknown person's blood.
That blood evidence, coupled with the signs of struggle in the trailer, were crucial in shifting the investigation from a missing persons case to a potential homicide.
Wow.
It was a tangible link to violence, even without the bodies. And it would eventually lead investigators down a path that would intersect with Charles Thurman Sinclair. But that's a story for part 2 of our deep dive.
Oh, man. All right, well, we'll be right back after a quick break. Welcome back. Before we dive into how the Lintons' disappearance connects to Charles Thurman Sinclair, I think it's important to consider the scope of his crimes. You know, we've discussed a few cases, but they're just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it's almost overwhelming when you look at the full picture.
Yeah.
We're talking at least 11 homicides.
Right.
An attempted murder, 2 rapes, all linked to Sinclair.
Yeah.
And those are just the ones authorities could definitively tie to him.
Exactly. And the geographic spread is staggering.
Yeah.
He targeted coin shops across the western United States and into Canada.
Wow.
This wasn't just a crime spree. It was a meticulously planned campaign of terror that spanned years.
Right.
And left countless lives shattered.
Yeah, one case that really stands out, even among all the others,
Yeah.
is the murder of David Sutton in Everett, Washington.
Okay.
This one happened back in 1980.
Okay.
Well, before Sinclair's name was on anyone's radar.
Mm-hmm.
As a potential serial killer.
Right, that's what makes the Sutton case so intriguing. It predates the other known coin shop killings.
Right.
But looking back, it fits his MO perfectly.
Yeah.
Sutton was found dead in his antique store, shot in the head.
Wow.
The shop had been robbed of a staggering $80,000 in silver dollars.
It's like a blueprint.
It is.
For the crimes he would later become infamous for.
Yeah.
You know, the specific type of victim, the method of execution, the focus on valuable coins. It's almost as if he was
honing his skills.
Yeah, honing his skills, perfecting this deadly craft.
It's a chilling thought.
It's a chilling thought.
Yeah.
And then there's the case of Thomas Rohr in Mishawaka, Indiana, killed during a coin shop robbery in 1985. Again, gunshot to the head, quick and brutal end.
Yeah, these cases where the victims didn't survive, they're particularly difficult to process.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can hear Kelly Finnegan's story
Right?
of survival and marvel at his resilience.
Right.
But for victims like Sutton and Rohr, their stories ended abruptly,
Yeah.
leaving only silence and unanswered questions.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder
It is.
that behind the statistics, behind the headlines,
Yeah.
there are real people with lives, families, dreams cut tragically short.
Exactly, and for their loved ones.
Yeah.
The pain and the search for answers never truly ends.
We could spend hours going through each case, detailing the horrors inflicted upon each victim and their families.
Right.
But I think for the sake of time, it's important to just acknowledge
Yeah.
that there are many more stories like those of Sutton and Rohr. Reuben Lee Williams in Vacaville, California, killed in 1986.
Right.
Leo Cashat in Spokane, Washington in 1987. The list goes on.
Yeah.
Each name representing a life extinguished, a family devastated.
It's a sobering reminder of the sheer scale of his crimes
Yeah.
and the ripple effect of pain that extended far beyond the immediate victims.
Right.
But it's also a testament to the dedication of those investigators who worked tirelessly to connect these seemingly disparate cases to piece together the puzzle that was Charles Thurman Sinclair.
Yes, speaking of investigators, we need to talk about Pete Puccini,
Okay.
the man who played a pivotal role in bringing Sinclair down.
Yeah.
He was the lead investigator on the Lintons case,
Right.
and he was convinced that their disappearance was connected to this string of coin shop robberies.
Yeah, Puccini was relentless. He meticulously followed the trail
Yeah.
of the Lintons' stolen credit cards. They were being used across multiple starts. It was like chasing a ghost.
Right.
But Puccini refused to give up.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Remember that blood evidence found in the Lintons' abandoned truck?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that unknown third blood type match Charles Thurman Sinclair.
It was a major breakthrough.
Yeah.
It finally gave investigators that concrete link.
Right.
They needed to connect Sinclair to the Lintons' disappearance.
But even with this new evidence, catching Sinclair wasn't easy.
No.
He was a master of disguise, constantly changing his appearance, using aliases.
Yeah, like a chameleon.
Yeah, blending into the background. Always one step ahead of the law.
And let's not forget the limitations of technology at the time.
Right.
This was the pre-internet era.
Yeah.
Long before widespread surveillance cameras and DNA databases,
Right.
investigators had to rely on old-fashioned detective work. Shoe leather, phone calls,
Right.
painstakingly building a case piece by piece.
Wow, but Puccini had one advantage.
Okay.
He was incredibly observant. Remember how Jim Sparbo noticed Sinclair's banker-smooth hands?
Yes.
But it turns out that detail would come back to haunt Sinclair
Okay.
while investigating a coin shop robbery in Washington state,
Right.
completely unrelated to the Lintons case.
Okay.
Puccini encountered a suspicious individual with a bandaged hand
Yeah.
in a pawn shop.
Okay.
Something about the man's demeanor, his evasiveness,
Yeah.
struck Puccini as odd.
Right.
And when Sinclair was eventually apprehended, Puccini realized those scars on Sinclair's hand were a perfect match to the bandaged hand he'd seen weeks earlier.
Wow, so it was a seemingly insignificant detail.
Yeah.
But for Puccini, it was this crucial piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it's amazing how these small, seemingly random observations
It is.
can sometimes be the key to cracking a case wide open.
It's a testament to the power of human intuition.
Yeah.
And the importance of paying attention to those details.
And then came the raid on Sinclair's storage shed in Kenny Lake, Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
It was like opening Pandora's box.
It was.
This treasure trove of evidence linking him to multiple crimes.
Inside the shed, investigators found maps with coin shop locations circled,
Wow.
equipment for making fake IDs, explosives,
Oh,
and of course, a vast collection of stolen coins.
oh, wow.
It was like stepping into the mind of a criminal mastermind.
Yeah.
A chilling glimpse into the depth of his planning and depravity.
And to top it all off, they even found a clarinet
A clarinet.
that was traced back to the Lintons.
Oh, wow. The clarinet was a poignant discovery.
Yeah.
Amidst all that cold, hard evidence,
Yeah.
it stood out as this tangible reminder of the human cost.
Yeah.
The lives lost, the families shattered.
It must have been a bittersweet moment for investigators.
Yeah,
On one hand, they finally had the evidence they needed to bring Sinclair to justice.
right.
But on the other hand, The discovery confirmed their worst fears
Yes.
about the fate of the Lintons.
Right, it was a victory for law enforcement.
Yeah.
But it also solidified that tragic reality
Mhm.
that Robert and Dagmar Linton were most likely gone.
Right.
Their dreams of retirement, of traveling the world, cruelly cut short.
And this brings us to the final chapter of Charles Thurman Sinclair's story.
Yeah.
A chapter filled with both a sense of justice and a lingering sense of what might have been.
Right.
But we'll delve into that in the third and final part of our deep dive. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the life and crimes of Charles Thurman Sinclair, the so-called coin shop killer. We've uncovered his meticulously planned robberies, his cold-blooded murders, and the trail of grief that he left across the American West.
Yeah.
But the story doesn't end with the raid on his storage shed.
No.
There's a final twist, one that leaves us with more questions than answers.
Yeah, it's almost like a Greek tragedy, right? A tale of hubris and a fall from grace.
Right.
Sinclair, the master manipulator,
Yeah.
the meticulous planner, ultimately undone by his own arrogance and the persistence of those who hunted him.
He was arrested in August of 1990
Yeah.
near his home in Kenny Lake, Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
After years of evading justice, his reign of terror finally came to an end.
I imagine there was a collective sigh of relief from investigators, families of his victims, anyone who had ever crossed paths with this chilling figure.
Right, so the arrest was a major victory for law enforcement.
Absolutely.
A testament to the dedication and determination of people like Pete Pettini, who refused to give up.
Right.
But it also marked the beginning of a new chapter.
Right.
Yeah. One filled with the complex and often frustrating realities of the legal system.
Mm-hmm.
Sinclair was initially held on a $500,000 bond in Palmer, Alaska,
Right.
Montana authorities, where he was facing charges for that double homicide
Yeah.
of Charles Sparbo and Catherine Newstrom. They were pushing for his extradition.
Right. And soon other states followed suit.
Yeah.
Utah authorities filed charges for the attempted murder of Kelly Finnegan. Aggravated robbery. It seemed like justice was finally going to be served.
Right.
You know, Sinclair would have his day in court. He would face his accusers.
Right.
And the families of his victims would finally have the chance to confront the man who had shattered their lives.
But fate, it seems, had other plans.
Yeah.
On October 30th, 1990, just a few months after his arrest, Charles Thurman Sinclair died in an Anchorage jail cell. Cause of death, heart failure.
It was a shocking turn of events, one that sent shockwaves through the legal system, left everyone involved grappling with this profound sense of unfinished business.
Yeah, imagine being one of the families
Right.
who had waited years for justice only to have it snatched away.
At the last moment.
Right at the last moment.
No trial, no confession, no opportunity for closure.
It's a stark reminder
It is.
that the pursuit of justice isn't always a neat and tidy process.
No. Sometimes it's messy, unpredictable, and ultimately unsatisfying.
Sinclair's death left a void, right?
Yeah.
This gaping hole in the narrative, we'll never know for sure what drove him
Right.
to commit such horrific acts.
Was it the trauma of his childhood? The financial ruin he faced after the fire?
Right.
Or was there something darker,
Yeah.
more sinister lurking beneath the surface?
These are questions that'll likely haunt us forever.
Right.
And they highlight the complexities of criminal psychology.
Absolutely.
The challenge of understanding the motivations behind such extreme acts of violence.
Yeah.
But even in the absence of definitive answers, I think there are still valuable lessons to be learned.
I agree.
From the case of Charles Thurman Sinclair,
Mm-hmm.
it teaches us about the importance of vigilance,
Right.
the need to be aware of our surroundings,
Yeah.
and the power of even the smallest details in solving crimes.
And it reminds us that evil can lurk in the
Yes.
most unexpected places, even in the seemingly mundane world
Right.
of coin collecting.
Coin collecting, yeah.
It challenges our assumptions about safety and security,
Yeah.
forcing us to confront that uncomfortable reality
Mhm.
that violence can erupt anywhere at any time.
Yeah, and what strikes me most is how this case underscores the importance of human connection. You know, Sinclair preyed on the isolation of his victims,
Right.
exploiting their trust and their willingness to welcome a stranger
Yeah.
into their world.
It's their world.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely.
So by fostering a sense of community,
Right.
by looking out for one another, by being aware of the vulnerabilities within our own circles, we can create a more resilient society.
Yeah.
One that's less susceptible to the manipulations of predators.
Like Sinclair.
Like Sinclair, right? And let's not forget, the importance of supporting law enforcement,
Oh, absolutely.
advocating for policies that give investigators the resources they need
Yes.
to do their jobs effectively.
The men and women who work tirelessly to solve crimes,
Yeah.
to bring criminals to justice, they deserve our unwavering support.
Right. They are the unsung heroes of our society,
Absolutely.
often working behind the scenes, dealing with the darkest aspects of humanity,
Right.
all in the pursuit of justice and a safer world for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So as we conclude this deep dive into the life and crimes
Yeah.
of Charles Thurman Sinclair, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
We may never fully understand what drove him to commit such horrific acts,
Right.
but we can honor the memory of his victims
Absolutely.
by learning from this case, by being more vigilant, more compassionate, and more connected to the communities around us.
Well said.
Right? Let's remember the names of those lost, the lives forever altered. By Sinclair's actions, let's carry with us the lessons learned, not as a burden,
Yeah.
but as a reminder of our shared responsibility to create a world where such tragedies are less likely to occur.
I agree.
Well, thank you for joining us on this journey into the dark heart of the coin shop killer case. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe,
Yeah.
and keep asking questions.